Well, the lights have been switched on, and the Somali scammer cockroaches are running in every possible direction. And things are getting pretty hilarious as a new report shows a daycare hiring child actors for a 3-day contract so they could continue to scam the government, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff has been revealed over the weekend. While I know a lot of people are looking at Venezuela, they're looking at, the lunatic that went after JD Vance's house, things like that. But there's a lot more that came out in this Somali debacle, and we're going to go over it together because it's just too, it's sad, but these people are not very smart. So these Somalis ain't got good English. Their explanation for needing child actors is top tier. Help us daycare. Hi all, my family runs a daycare here in the city and have for over 5 years until Monday when funding was cruelly ripped away without cause. Due to this insane poor decision, clear in white supremacy, we had to close our doors immediately. We must prove we are a function daycare to get the funding back. The issue is the entire client base has already found new daycare services, so we need to find new client base quickly. To help hurry this state vetting process, we are looking to hire 20 child actors for 3 days while state is present on site. Now, this is literally Minneapolis. This is literally a Minneapolis Craigslist post. It has now been reported and removed because obviously that is illegal. We also don't know. Anybody can post on Craigslist, and I didn't even know Craigslist was still a thing. So it's possible that it was just somebody put it up there as a troll. But if it's real, if it was a troll, I don't think they would have removed it unless it was, reported or something like that. And that's just the appetizer. Now, after this inspection, a daycare center invites the Associated Press in to review them to show that they're not doing anything wrong. Yet they plastered bizarre images all over the walls to, make it seem more. I don't even understand what the hell they were thinking. Eagle-eyed viewers spotted unusual images inside the daycare facility at the center of the Minnesota Somali fraud scandal. The ABC Leering Center in Minneapolis was featured in a report from independent journalist Nick Shirley that showed the facility apparently devoid of youngsters, despite receiving $1 million in funding. In an effort to clear their name, the daycare's director, Ahmed Hassan, allowed reporters from the Associated Press inside the building. There's no fraud happening here, Hassan told the AP. We're open every day, and we have our records to show that this place is open. No. I believe you are open every day. I believe there's some towel-headed individual sitting in all of these scam daycare centers all day long. I 100% believe that they don't. They get the money. They're sitting there, but they aren't actually interested in running a business. Hassan, who is Somali, said that there are 56 kids enrolled at the center. And since Shirley's video was posted, his center has received harassing phone calls. He also noted that the center is routinely subject to checks by state regulators to ensure it remains in compliance with their license. However, viewers quickly pointed out that seemingly random stock images were scattered throughout the center, including pictures of families displayed on the wall with the words science above it. They are either stock photos or AI generated, but there's zero chance they have anything to do with actual science, one person wrote on X. That's, of course, fraudsters going to fraud, right? Looks like they went out and bought a bunch of picture frames so they could use the stock photos inside, another person wrote. Someone needs to do a reverse image AI detection check on that wall. A fourth person wrote, some people questioned the photo's location and speculated that they were covering up something on the wall. I want to know what's under those photos. There was weird placement, and it makes me think they're covering over something, one person wrote. What's behind these photos? They seem to be covering something important and not daycare related, another added. Minnesota has, over the past month, emerged as ground zero in Donald Trump's battle against illegal immigration amid staggering reports of fraud in the Somali community. On Friday, Minnesota's Department of Children, Youth, and Families said it has until January 9th, which is just 4 days, to hand over the information on providers and parents who receive federal child care funds, which the Trump administration contends have been used fraudulently or risk losing federal funding. This moves comes after Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services Jim O'Neill announced that funding had been frozen and demanded that Governor Tim Walz audit the centers allegedly involved. By the way, Tim Walz is out. He revealed today that he will not be seeking re-election, probably because he's going to jail. Investigators have confirmed the centers were opening and operated as expected, gathered evidence, and initiated further review, department said. Again, like $1 million, this building is a dump. What did they spend $1 million on? That's $1 million construction for what, 3 students? You need $333,000 a head from the federal government. Again, I believe that these daycares are operating. It's just Somali families using their kids. Oh, by the way, how about this kickback? This was also happening. There's a kickback scheme in place for these daycares. Kickback amounts. Parents were paid between $300 and $1,500 per month per child just to enroll them. The indictment notes that there were several larger families threatening to pull their children out of this program unless their kickbacks were matched or increased, indicating they were actively shopping their children's enrollment to different centers to find the highest bidder. $18,000 per year per child just for hush money to the parents alone, adding in billions sent back to Somalia, all the bribes that went unnoticed, including the campaign donations that went to Democrat politicians, and they still had to turn a profit even after all of that. This is an entire industry of fraud. So to be clear, to explain what's happening here, if you didn't follow that, because I explained it poorly, and I do that, essentially these daycares had so much money, but they needed more students. So they would pay parents to put their kids in there so they could continue to defraud the government. Then parents got in on scamming it. Parents figured out the hustle. So then they were basically selling their kids into these daycares to the highest bidder. By the way, 4 of these investigations now officially under investigation.
Fox News alert, a Minnesota state agency says 4 child care centers mentioned in independent journalist Nick Shirley's viral video, seen by millions, are under investigation. Right now, we don't know which 4 and what specifically they're being investigated for. It comes after the Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families conducted on-site compliance checks at 9 of those health care centers, child care centers referenced in the video. The agency also says it has 55 open investigations involving receiving funding from the Child Care Assistance Program.
If you go in, and by the way, Donald Trump is kicking up a notch. You'll never guess who, by the way, is listed as a site contact for Quality Learning Center. It's Amy Bach. She was the ringleader of the $250 million Feeding Our Family lockdown fraud scheme. The one, she did get arrested. She was running all of these. We're talking about billions in fraud. But if we go back, look at what Donald Trump posted. Where is this here? President Trump just dropped a chart showing 72% of all Somali households in the entire United States are on government welfare. Like, Donald Trump is going ballistic on this. He does not. This is, if he's like a dog with a bone, and this is exactly what he should be doing. Like, midterms are coming up, and he needs, the Republicans need a win. And pointing out, if it's got to be the Somalis, it's got to be the Somalis. By the way, 76% of all Yemen people in the United States are on welfare. Dominican Republic, 70%. Afghanistan, 70%. Congo, 66%. Get them all out. We don't need to bring people in to live off our government. Now, Minneapolis paid a Somalian restaurant $12 million in federal child meal funds after it claimed it was feeding 4,000 to 6,000 kids per day, by the way.
Co-owner Salim Saeed is on trial alongside Amy Bach, the Feeding Our Future executive director.
Now, Amy Bach, I mentioned earlier, connected to Quality Leering Center.
Safari claimed to feed 4,000 to 6,000 kids a day. Its invoices and meal counts shown to the jury alongside the video. An FBI agent testifying that an average of 40 people came and went during the 6 weeks it was surveilled.
Over 6 weeks, it was 40 people. So they claimed they had, in 6 weeks alone, right? In 6 weeks alone, they claimed that they would have served, how many days is that? So let's just say in 60 days, let's say, they would have fed 400,000 people. That's what they claimed. But the reality would have been that they paid 2,000 people.
The FBI set up a total of 12 cameras at sites claiming to serve extraordinary numbers of meals. Another was at a deli in St. Paul, also registered by defendant Salim Saeed, which claimed 1,800 meals per day. The video, shown to the jury, showed an average of 23 people a day coming and going. The jury was shown dozens of invoices, meal counts, and emails seized from Feeding Our Future's headquarters in St.
I mean, if you don't think, by the way, this is happening in every state. There are 1,794 daycare centers in Minnesota alone. 1,235 of them list a Somali-sounding name as the owner for 111,000 children. Total Somali population in the state, 84,000. Percent of that population on welfare, 81%. If the parents are not working, why do they need childcare? Do non-Somali children go to Somali-speaking centers? Definitely not. So with 80% of their population not at work, why did so many of you need childcare? It's because they were selling their kids to these daycares to pump up their numbers. They're panicking. They're making 911 calls. The whole thing is a disaster that needs to be ripped apart, but also we need to be investigating this all across the country, not just in Minnesota where Tampon Tim was there. We need to get to every Democrat stronghold, and you see more Somali daycare records changes. This daycare, which has reportedly taken $863,000 in taxes dollars since 2023, used only just 6 available slots a few days ago, meaning it only served 3 kids, and it got $900K in taxpayer money. Now the DCYF says 0 slots available, and they remove their address. The cockroaches are on the run. Hopefully, Republicans just stay on this nationwide up through midterms. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.